Tipped maybe, and it's intercepted. Kyle Van Noy.
What a great play by Shirt.
I made a polarizing video back in late October when the trade was first made, and it was the trade to it was a trade where Kyle Van Noy went to the Patriots for draft picks. And at the time I made the video, I made it out of disgust. I was mad as fuck. I was calling Bob Quinn out. It was the first time I ever called Bob Quinn out, but and I was just, at the time, I remember being confused about the move because I was like, damn, they gave up a promising young player. They gave up on him, and nobody else that I felt like that should have been traded was traded. But, I mean, it had more to do with the Patriots than Kyle Van Noy himself. Kyle Van Noy was the one, I mean, Patriots are the ones that wanted Kyle Van Noy. I learned that later on. And Bob Quinn was willing to give him up, but, you know, he probably said, let me get some fucking draft picks for him. But the thing about that whole issue, and I had a tough time that week because man, I mean, I had Lion fans fighting with each other, man, that week, boy. It was a bad week for us. We had lost to the Texans that week, too, after being on a 3-game winning streak. It was a tough week. A lot of drama in there. Then we were finally able to get out for that when we beat the Vikings, but it was a tough time, man. It was a tough time in the season because I remember, and it just brought it all back watching Kyle Van Noy just playing his ass off yesterday and throughout these playoffs, and since he's been in New England, really, because I've been watching his games closely, and it just dawned on me like, damn, what could have been. But I'm gonna say this in my conclusions about Kyle Van Noy, and it's something that we all knew from before. This all got a lot more to do with the Patriots than anything else. I think the Patriots, we knew that he was going to a better scheme. Bet he was a better fit with the Patriots because of what they run. It really came down to that for Kyle Van Noy because his responsibilities were different here than it is in New England. First of all, he was learning. He was learning on the fly here. The rookie season that he lost to injury really hurt his development. And I think the coaching is better than in New England. So it brought it all back to where, like, damn. Does this say a lot about the Lions and their inability to find the right coaching staff? Because we have really failed in a lot of different areas in this organization. And this is a perfect example of a failure, you know, and I always knew when I made that video, there was a reason for making that video. I didn't make it because I believed in some false hope. I made it because I knew it was going to happen when he went to New England. I wanted to prepare Lion fans because I thought Lion fans at the time were giving the Lions a pass instead of calling them out. A lot of people also, I'm going to say this as well, a lot of people also are afraid to call out, especially around that time, were afraid to call out Bob Quinn because he's the hope. A lot of people weren't ready to do that. I was the first person that I know that has jumped on Bob Quinn, at least publicly on here. Ain't nobody jumped on him like I did just up until that point. I'm the first one. So I took a lot of heat for that because I jumped on the guy that's supposed to bring us hope. Now, I still believe in Bob Quinn. I know he's legit. I'm not even saying that was a mistake on his part because we got picks in return, picks that he can use to value our franchise, you know, and I still trust him because of the way the offseason went last year. But what I don't trust with this move is the inability, because I felt like when the Lions made this move, it was lazy as fuck. Instead of making the guy with really promising skills, really promising value better, and just living with his growing pains, you got rid of him. Imagine if we would have done that to Stafford in his first 3 years. Let's just imagine if Stafford didn't have the 2011 season he had. Let's say he had more of a season like he had in 2012 than in 2011 where he went 4-12. And we just decided to give up on him after 2011. Where would we be now if he wasn't our quarterback? That's how I felt about this. I felt like they gave up on him too damn early. Now, like I said before, things ended up working out on both sides, mainly for the Patriots. Patriots got a player that fit their need. They traded Jamie Collins, and they ended up getting somebody who filled the spot pretty well. You know what I mean? And he become a star there. He's become a star there just like I knew he would. He fits the scheme and all that shit. Here's what I will say about Calvin Noy as far as what the Lions should have did, not just for him, but for the franchise, because this is what this video is also about too. Is it time for the Lions defense to move to a 3-4? And some Lions fans have already been talking about this, but I don't think the 4-3 works for the Lions anymore. And I'm going to say this why. Because if you run a 4-3 defense, you better have two different things. Actually, you better have three different things. First of all, you need to rush the quarterback. You need to make sure you got the best four men up front. Second of all, you better have some linebackers that can cover. And third of all, secondary better be good behind them, or you're gonna get ripped like we did this season in the passing game. We were dead last in I think a completion percentage or some shit like that. That's unacceptable. We're in a conference right now where really right now the NFC has the best young quarterbacks in the game right now. You know, and you know we got to go against guys like Russell Wilson, whoever the Niners are going to get in the draft, maybe Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, if you still believe in them, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton. I don't know about the Vikings situation just yet, but Sam Bradford did have a high completion percentage on us in that Thanksgiving game. And then whoever the Bears, if they get a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is still around. So we got quarterbacks to face in almost every game in the NFC who got a chance to get a high completion percentage on us and make a lot of their passes over the middle. When you have a defense like, when you face offenses like that, I think they need to transform. I think it's time for the Lions to transform their defense. I absolutely believe that. I think the Lions need to go to a 3-4. And it comes at the hands of if they could get Matt Patricia in here. If Calvin Noy was still on this roster and you brought in a 3-4, I think that would have worked out perfectly. You know, and I believe with the way the Patriots system is defensively, I think it could work for the Lions a lot better, especially against good passers. You know what I mean? And I remember, I will never forget this week. A lot of people didn't point this out. But when the Lions played that 4-2-5 against the Saints, it was our best fucking defensive game of the year. And we went away from that because Levy came back the following week. For the life of me, I don't know why we just didn't stick with that fucking defense. That 4-2-5 fucking worked against Drew fucking Brees. We had 5 defensive backs. And he couldn't do shit. Because in my opinion, the team was better off playing that way with more guys who can handle the receivers more than the way they have it right now. But I would have liked to see a hybrid of that, maybe a possible 2-4-5. But I don't like just having 2 people on the defensive line. That's how you rarely see that formation right there, 2-4-5. You know, and plus we do need D tackles. But I would rather the team, they're going to continue this 4-3, so don't act like they're going to move to the 3-4. They're going to continue the 4-3, but I honestly believe that if you don't have the opposite pass rusher of Ziggy Ansah, or you don't have 2 defensive tackles like we had with Sue and Fairley that one year, if you don't have that, then because we're going to have to draft a defensive tackle instead of just sticking with Ashawn if we decide to go in that direction. So it's something interesting, man, to think about. I'm actually going to make a off-season video next. I want to talk about this for a short period of time. Like I said, man, I'm proud of Calvin Noy. You know, he in the right situation. Him and his wife, they went to the top of the mountain. That's some really deflating ass shit when you think about it. That this guy started his season with the Lions and got a chance to win a ring in the same fucking year. That's unbelievable shit. You cannot fucking script that. That is another thing it's like another fucking dagger to the heart for the Lions, man. It's inexcusable, man. Like I said, I don't want to hear these excuses no more when it comes to Calvin Noy, man. Look, let's just admit it. We fucked up with him. We got to move on, but we fucked up with him big time. We fucked up big time. But so have a lot of teams. Patriots have made a lot of fucking teams look bad. They made a lot of fucking. They've taken a lot of teams trash and just turned them into treasures, man. So, I mean, I don't think we should feel that bad about that, but it is haunting. It's haunting as fuck, though. Just thinking about that shit and the potential he still had playing next to an Antoine Williams or whatever linebackers we were going to draft in here, playing with Whitehead or whatever, man. I mean, it's haunting. It's haunting as fuck. But yeah, man, I'm bringing that back to the fire, man. Y'all can discuss that all y'all want. Go ahead. Next video, I'm going to address the whole Caldwell thing, what I think about that. That's going to be my first off-season video. I'm going to make a series of these throughout the off-season going into the draft. So, yeah, I'll catch y'all in. And I'm the ace taker of the DVE family of the Detroit Lions, and we are out.
At the same time, 3rd and 7 for New England. Brady gets rid of it quickly. Catch! Julian Edelman off to the races! Julian Edelman! Goodbye, Edelman! Touchdown, New England! "77 yards on the catch and run, and a silencer.
Career-long reception for a touchdown for Edelman. Make one guy miss. That's Rambo. Remember, Rambo, one of the 3 defensive starters. Reserves are taking over starters today, and that cost the Dolphins that time as Edelman shows off his speed.
A devastating block from Michael Floyd, and Tony Lippett just now getting up.